Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new painting tutorial, and now we are going to paint Gorslav the Gravekeeper. So this is this guy from the Curse City. It seems that this is the guy that is controlling the zombies. And yeah, and we are going to start the paint job on him. So one thing I will do first is, and I'm doing this on camera this time, is to add texture to the miniature. So we are going to take this one, the Stirland Mud, Stirland Mud. We are going to use this type of tool. You can see it really. We are going to mix it a little bit because I have the feeling the texture is very at the bottom. And I'm going to take some of this and splat it over the base. Okay, so we're going to take some, and I will do as well next to the miniature, because I want to give the sensation, of moodiness, fresh ground. Here I want to avoid to go over the cloth. I will make the cloth dirty at the bottom, but on the miniature, on this one, I will add a little bit on top, so as it is part of the dirt that is taken with him. Okay, so we are going to apply this like that. Here we have more. Is this? So I'm going to apply it like that, and here I will try to avoid. I want to add texture, but I want to try to avoid to dirten the clothes too much. Okay. We need to check that all the base is texturized, and we need also to check that we don't leave a gap under this guy. This guy you want to keep it dirt. Okay, like that should be okay. Now I'm going to wait at this dry because there is a lot of solvent still, and when it has dry I will come back to see how it looks like. Okay, so this how it looks like when we have applied texture paint. So you can see I went a little bit over the sand and some other parts. Now what I'm going to use Cygor brown, and I'm going to paint some of the parts that are as well dirt, like for example this one here, because I want to do dry brushing, but we will need to do it all the parts at the same time. So I'm going to paint all the dirt as well. This is the cover of the coffin, and this is represented that is the dirt that is on top. And there is like a piece of a tree, something like that. Then we have as well this, I'm wondering, this is dirt as well. And then we are ready to start painting the zombie, but first I want to apply a little bit of the same Cygor brown all around to uniform a little bit. I go very thin so I can extend it quite nicely, but I want to unify the color. I want to have same color for all the dirt, for all the earth. So this is why I'm doing like that. We wait at this dries, and then we are going to do some dry brushing to give texture to the dirtiness, to the dirt. And later on, most likely I will use some turf to add some variation, not to make it just dirt. Okay, so I'm waiting that this dries. Once this has dried, we will continue. Okay, next step, once this has dried, I'm going to take XV88, and I'm going to do the dry brushing of XV88 on it, okay? Here I will not, we don't need to be too careful. We just want to create some texture. I will not do too much. I rather want to keep the look of muddy. Okay. Something like that. And later on, if we want, we can use some pigments, but more if we want to dirten the clothes and so on. Okay. I think like that will be enough at this moment. I don't want to go lighter. So next step, I'm going to use Snakebite leather, and I'm going to do the cover of the coffin. Okay. Let me see if I find it. Here it is. You want to play with the different brown textures. Okay, and we can later on even put some greenish tones if we want it. Okay, something like that. And we can use, now that we are using this one, we can use this as well on the spade. Here. Because this alone will give the look. And here, don't worry if you're dirtying a little bit the metals, but you have to be sure that you cover everything. Okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do as well, now that I already have the wood, these things here, right? This also looks like wood, so I'm going to do this as well. So I'm going to do that. I'm waiting that this dries and I'm back. Okay, next step, I'm going to use Aggaros Dunes on the zombie that is being raised. Okay. I want to start with this stone. You can see that the Snakebite leather give a very nice tone, and you need to do very little. And as well, this one will give a very yellowish tone that we are going to complement with some greens and purples to make it look. But I want to keep an earthy look on this one because it's just getting out of the dirt. So you really want to keep this dark look, this browny look, right? Okay. Next, I'm going to use Wildwood. When I find it. Here we have Wildwood. I'm going to do these three. And we do as well the roots. Okay, now I'm going to work on the skin of this guy, and I'm going to start with a very light color. I'm going to start with this one, Apothecary white. I want to start creating layers. I want to start quite pale, but I want to keep it in the grease. So this will give a very nice grease touch that is ideal to make pale skin. As you can see here, I want to keep the skin of this guy pale, unhealthy, weird. We'll need to do some touches here and there to simulate some of these joint parts. Okay, so I'm doing all this with Apothecary white, and I will be back for the next step. Okay, next I'm going to use a combination of Zamesi Desert and Flayed Flesh to highlight the skin of the zombie, okay, or the Walking Dead, or they want to call it. Okay, I will put some here. Okay. I mainly want to highlight to the flesh, Flayed one flesh. Then I will need to use the Zamesi Desert to help on the transition. Okay, using those Zamesi Desert and no Flayed one flesh. Then it seems that there is, I think this is like hair. Then I'm going to use a grey color, because I don't know if these are worms or hair. I don't know what is this, to be fair, but I will just put a grey color and do this. I think this is hair. Just now I'm using a little bit of V88. Would I correct a small mistake there with some Rhinox Hide. Okay. I will not highlight everything on the skin. I will leave the bottom on the dark color. The only thing, so we can use as well XV88, that I have it here in the wet palette, to help me in these transitions here. Because you want to keep, what I'm trying to do is to dissimulate this gap there. And now I'm going to use a much darker color. I'm going to use Rhinox Hide. Just taking some water to make it thinner, because I want to dissimulate this one here. And I will take XV88 mixed with Rhinox Hide. I will keep it dark there. Okay, I will let it dry. You can see I try to leave the bottom part quite dark, and the top a little bit lighter. Okay. I'm using a little bit of V88 because this part is much darker, and I pretty like that it's darker. Okay, next I'm going to take a little bit of this one, Nurgle Rot, and we're going to put it on this type of things we have there. And I can make it the VIP as well from the mouth. Like if some mud, some nasty fluids have been collecting. Okay. Finally, I can take a little bit of purple. I will take this one, Druchi Violet. And I'm going to apply it just on some parts. And so it will give extra I like to give this purple tone here and there. And one thing we need to do, I'm realizing now, there is a mistake here. You see that here I have a gap. I will need to fill this gap with some with the same texture. What I'm going to use as well, the Druchi Violet now, and I'm going to put it in some strategic parts on the skin of this guy. Okay, where we have scars, you can put it, for example, under the where you have deeper recesses. Just where you think it can give some additional. Then here it seems that there is something popping out. Put it at the base of this spiky things, we can put it there. So put it where you think will add to the miniature. Then put here under there. In the arm. Not everywhere, I don't want to do a full wash. I'm just choosing here and there some areas where I want to put this Druchi Violet. For example, the neck is a great place. Can be more generous on the neck. It looks like it's stretched here. Right, but you don't want to put it everywhere. It loses the purpose. I can use it on the backbone. Okay. I'm doing this now because I already have it here, and the elbow, for example, is a nice place to put it. And I'm looking all these scars and I'm filling them with this Druchi Violet. If you miss some scars, it's not a problem, but just, and this is adding a lot of color to the skin, and I think it will make it look more interesting. I will need to do some touches later on. But I think it will add overall. Okay, so I think now it's okay. I don't want to do much neither. You can see the zombie will not do too much work either. But what I'm going to do is the roads are looking too uniform. So I'm going to use Baneblade Brown, this one. I don't need too much. And I will, it's not really dry brushing, it's more like and here on the wood. So I don't have my brush very dry, but I don't have it extremely wet neither. So here is what you want, even if the paint is thick, it's not a problem. So you just want to wait, like that is enough. You see, like that is enough. Okay. And now I come to the dilemma how I want to do the clothes, and I think I will keep the red as a driving color for this faction. So I'm going to use flesh tears, and I'm going to paint the big part of the cloth. Okay, I'm going to paint all this. It's the same that I used. Okay. Same color that I use for the Ulfen guard. Instead of going for a black, you can go for a black if you want here as a cemetery worker, the look should be, but I prefer to go for the red. Then I will darken the red a lot with some washes. Okay, so I'm going to apply this red on the clothes, and I'm back once this is done and dry. This is how the red looks like now. And next step, I'm going to use Black Templar, and I'm going to do the rest of the clothes. Okay, so it's going to be quite easy scheme, very convenient for death. That is black and red. Okay. And we're going to darken a lot the red later on. So keep it like that. Go carefully. I will try to avoid to fill the rope with black, and I will just carefully paint the rest of the clothes in black. Okay. Same way I did the red, but now with the Black Templar. So I'm going to do that. Okay, and I'm back for the next step. Okay, this color looks like, no, the black is not fully dry, but I'm going to work on my next color, that is Ironbreaker. Okay, this is the one I want to use for all the metallic parts. For example, we can start with the spade. We're going to do something like that. Okay, and I go for quite a light metal color because I'm going to use washes to darken them. Okay, so I'm going to do all the metallic parts with Ironbreaker, including these spikes here, and this, and this, and I think that's all. So I will do this and I'm back for the next step. Okay, I have done all the metallics. Okay, next step I'm going to use Gore Guntra and I'm going to apply it. I'm going to do this as a leather color this time. All the browns from this will look more like Morphang brown. All the browns from the contest paints are great to paint this type of bells. Okay, they work perfectly. Maybe the best is still the Snakebite leather, but this one is also good and will give you a nice finishing. Okay, we do it here. I do the shoe. And I will do the belt. That, and now I will do the belt. I think this is a piece of cloth that goes overside. Sometimes it's difficult in this method to know what do you see, but I think this is a piece of cloth. This turn up. Okay, now we're going to do this. Like that. Yeah, I think this is a piece of cloth, so I'm going to take black Templar and do this part. These are things that sometimes you are not clear when you're doing the first time the paint job and you start guessing. But yeah, I will put here this. Okay. And I dirted by mistake this part. These I think are the metal spikes. I think the metal spikes are causing him. This is curious, but I think this is the metal spike that comes from the back that is protruding here, and the other one is not getting old. Okay, so let's keep it like that. Next step, we are going to use a skeleton horde on the two skulls. Again, they look quite old, broken skulls, so we can leave them quite browny color. I'm going to put this here. We do like that. Don't worry if you're dirtying a little bit the metal, because at the end we are going to weather the metal with browns and oranges. Okay. Now I'm going to use Aggaros Dunes to do the rope. As you can see, one go, you have a road painted. Perfect color, no problem. And I will do as well, because here there is quite a weird thing. It's a hand with a lot of strings going on. So I will apply first this Aggaros Dunes, especially here, but this is also will help me to see what I'm seeing here. I think that there is as well a metallic thing or icon. Okay, now I'm going to take again a Snakebite leather. And I'm going to paint these wood things. Here I will just do I need to clean up later on, but it's not going to be a problem. And we have all the colors no lock. I'm only missing this hand. And this, I think for this hand I'm going to do the next. I need to wait at this device, I think. So I will wait at the paint device and I'm back to do the base colors in the hand and then to prepare for the shading. Okay, next step, I'm going to use Tallarnd Sand and I'm going to paint the hand with that. I mean the hand, this hand that is holding here, or this, I don't know if it's a hand. In fact, I'm not sure what is this. Looks like a type of trophy. Okay, and I'm going to use again the Ironbreaker to do this. Oops, the ball wants to get out of the pot. So we want to do this type of thing. Like that. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Agrax Earthshade and I'm going to wash almost the whole miniature. This will be, and I will also do the skin because I want the skin to look darker than the one we have now. So I'm going to wash everything with Agrax Earthshade. I have to be careful on the hand that is completely dry when I arrive to this part, so I will do first other parts. You can see I'm starting from the top. We are going to do as well the face. This will not kill completely the purple look. We'll give another layer of color to make the skin look more like old, lifeless. This is the look you want to give to this skin, right? You want to give a lifeless look, dirty, old, a little bit rotten. So these are all the connotations you want to give with the skin. So this way I play with browns, purples. You can also play with greens if you want, but in that case I will work with these two colors here. I will wash the whole miniature, okay? Even you can do a wash on the wood here to even emphasize more the, you can see, you give also on the metals is quite important to do the metals a little bit to make them look older. You can see, okay? And of course the spade you want to really, later on we are going to do some rust, but now the main purpose is to wash everything with Agrax Earthshade, and then we wait that this dries before doing any further step. You have to be completely sure the Agrax is dry before you do any other thing. We are going to start highlighting all this skin. On all the different parts, and this will match more with the look that I have given to the Ulfen Watch. Okay, so I do that, I wait at this device, and I'm back for the next step. Okay, in the next step I'm going to start highlighting the skin. I'm going to use Rakhart Flesh and Glacier, and we are going to do layering with these two colors. You can see my skin now is quite dark, so I will start with the Rakhart Flesh. Let's start, for example, the place like that. I will use Glacier and the Rakhart Flesh. I have the Rakhart Flesh very thin. Flesh here. Especially here on the chest we want to put some Rakhart Flesh. This part. I'm going to do here as well. We'll keep highlighting. Just one moment. Okay, going to do this one there. What you want to do is look for this, for the exposed parts, and highlight them. If needed, I will have some the Lilac, so I can use it to highlight the purple where is needed. Oops. Okay, I will do like that. Now we'll take the Lilac. I will give here a purple highlight on this symbol. And now take again Rakhart Flesh. And keep highlighting. And I will do here. Okay, and now we'll take the glacier and with a second highlight, but this one in more localized. Just to give this extra. For example, here you just do like that. Okay, I will do the jaws. chin. The teeth I don't think we need to do. I like it that they do dark and dirty. Okay, I will need to repair the thing I break there. And now I will apply it here. And this is the part where you need to use glaze here for a second highlight. Okay. So what you want to do is really to highlight muscle by muscle. And then on the parts where it's needed, you can take the color lilac, thin it down, and we can add a little bit the color like there, for example. Just give this purple tone. For example, here we can add the color lilac instead of Rakhart Flesh to make it look purplish. Put some purple here and there. It will give more the sensation. So for example, we can put purple here. The back spine. Around the source. The source. And now we do here. Okay, and we keep doing that on the whole miniature. Okay. So I will highlight the rest of the skin and I'm back for the next step. Okay, this is how the skin looks like now. Okay, and next step I'm going to work on the red. On the red I'm going to use Mephiston Red, Khorne Red. I will put a little bit of, just in case needed, Wild Rider Red. Okay, but this one you want to use it with a lot of measure. This is very orangey. Just in case you need this very bright highlight, some points, most likely will be here on the knee. You can see that the wash in the knee did not went as expected. It seems that it went out of this. Not a problem, because now we are going to work on that and we are going to make it look good. And I also have on my palette Rhinox Hide. Okay, this one, the dark brown. This will help me on the shades. And I have as well, if needed, Corvus Black, because this is really black. So let's start with this part. This is the most exposed part. Okay, and we are going to start. You can see I'm going to start applying here Mephiston Red. At the part that is looking down, I will apply Khorne Red, and I will even use a little bit of Rhinox Hide to shade it here in this part. Okay, because the part that goes down, you want it to look darker. Okay, and you can see that very fast we are going to hide it's not going to be visible, the problem we had with the wash. I'm going to go follow the folds with my Mephiston Red here. Okay, I'm going to follow this fold as well, this breaking part here. And I'm going to follow, for example, this one. Especially, you want to follow the top part of this fold. Okay, we want to go like that. Very carefully, you want to pick up these parts. Then I will use Khorne Red when I want it to pop up less. Okay. For example, this one I will use Khorne Red, Khorne Red Mephiston. But the one at the bottom that is more hidden, I will use Khorne Red. Okay. And we keep working like that. Here I will use Mephiston. No, Mephiston Khorne. So this part is Khorne. This one is Mephiston. And why if I Wild Rider Red? The Wild Rider Red will go just here. As you can see, I'm trying to spread it so I don't give too much intensity. We want to work as well this part here. Right? So the intention here is to exaggerate what the contrast and the wash have done for us. So now we clean up a little bit. I call it a clean up. You can see, and if you do mistakes, don't worry. This is why we have Rhinox Hide, and we have, if needed, Corvus Black. Okay, so I will come here, for example, I go with Rhinox Hide, and I will clean up this one here, and then Khorne in the case, because it's quite. You don't want to make it too visible. Khorne again. And I'm using no Khorne Red here in this part. And just highlight where you think it's needed, eh? If you like how it looks like, you don't need to do all the folds. For example, another part here, I will take a little bit of Corvus Black, in this case. I will ensure that here in this recess, I have a nice and dark shade. I take in now Rhinox Hide. And I will help what the wash was not able to do here, that is to exaggerate a little bit this shade, to add a little bit on this shade, again a little bit of Rhinox Hide. We want the underneath of this fold to be darker. Okay, this is pointing back, this part is looking down, sorry, so you want to make it darker like that. Okay, we go to the back leg now. What you want to do is, I will start with Mephiston Khorne. Okay, and Khorne can look very bright at the beginning. When it dries, it's darker. So it's important we get used to that, and we wait that it dries before doing any further correction. And this one here, this is where sometimes we need to use, I'm going to use no Rhinox Hide, and I will hide this fold here, okay, because this is the joining of the, and I don't want this to pop up, so I want to hide it because it's the join between one part and the other of the, so you want to hide this part here. This is why sometimes you need to help yourself, to help the wash, to really put the shade where are needed. Okay, here for example I will do Rhinox Hide. And I will share a little bit this like that. And now, yeah, I went too much because of my, I did not, I went with too much intensity. And now I can clean up using a little bit of Khorne Red here and here. Again, I went no too much to the other extreme. Let it dry. We are going to correct it later on. So we are going to follow here the edge of this, the edge of that, and we are going to do it like that. Now we take a little bit of Rhinox Hide. It's not too dark because it's mixed with red. Here you don't want to go extremely dark because it's looking up, although it's a shade what you want to keep there. It's up to you how you want to put the shades, because this can be dark as well because it's dirt tone. No, I'm just doing the lights and I'm doing the dirtiness. Okay. If you want to create dirtiness, then we need to put a lot of brown at the bottom. This I prefer to use pigments, to be fair. So here I'm highlighting this. Okay, I guess at this point I just want to show you there that I put too much red. Now I will come with Rhinox Hide. But you can see once dries, the Khorne Red is much darker. Okay. Now that I can add some Mephiston in the parts where I wanted some, and to make the red a little bit brighter. Okay. I'm not sure at the bottom. So here, example, this one that is very long, I want to, sometimes the spade or the shovel, I don't know how to call this tool. I think it's a spade, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's a shovel? Yeah, I think it's a shovel. It's in the way. We do it like that. We go down. You can make some more visible and other less visible. So don't create all the falls at the same intensity. And not all the shades have to be the same intensity either. Okay, play a little bit with. Okay, so I will now finalize the other parts in the same way I have done this red, and I'm back for the next step. Okay, I think I will finalize here part 1. I will split this tutorial in two, because I was thinking to make it in just one video, but I realized that it's becoming too long. So I will do a second part. Maybe it's going to be quite a short part, but I prefer to split it. Because this is becoming quite a long video, and I want really to start sharing with you how it looks like. So we have done the skin, we have done the red clothes, we have to still to do the black, we have to do the spade or the shovel. I want to work a little bit more on the head, on the bones, and I want to work on some weathering, oxidation or rusting, plus some dirtiness on the shovel, and as well some dirtiness at the bottom of the cloth. So I hope you have enjoyed up to now. I hope you like how the skin looks like in the red. Please keep tuned, because soon I will come with part 2, and I think you will like it as well. So thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.